Now, if that doesn't get you pumped up, I don't know what's gonna. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another discussion with us involving Sea of Stars and really whatever else comes to mind. My name is Frank, otherwise known as Nomad. Lindsay from LL Cool Games. How have you been? It's been a week.
I have been amazing because this last week, everybody got me over people. So I'm now live streaming this on my Facebook. Like that was one of my, right, one of those little like back pocket goals when we started. It's like, it'd be great by the time that we're done with this, and I could live stream it on my Facebook. So here we are. We're done it. Done. Going home to your mom. We did.
It's awesome. There was a cool little push to get you over the top, which was awesome. A lot of awesome people in the community trying to
Crazy.
get the word out. One of which just joined us in the chat, Sir and Lady Flaw Gaming. How the heck are you
Yay.
guys? But that's really awesome. So yeah, it's been one heck of a week since we've talked last. The Labor Day holiday has come and went. Before we get into it, how was your Labor Day? Hopefully you and the chitlins got into something cool. I hope.
It was nice. We went home. Our family's all in Michigan, and I think the kids spent more time in the pool at grandma's house
Nice.
than they did like sleeping or anything else that are right, required for living. But yeah, it was a nice weekend.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Then looks like Sir and Lady are doing well also. Good to hear. And then yeah, I had a I had a very busy weekend, but it was all for the right reasons though. I For those of you that didn't tune into the stream or see the replay last week, my birthday came and went. I'm not telling you what
Oh,
day, but it came and went the last week. So so it was nice. We got together with some family friends. My Told my wife specifically, I'm 40 now. I just want to lay in my non-existent recliner and do nothing. But of course, she takes us to a friend's house where there's a bunch of people and food and drink and stuff. So it's like, damn it, you did listen, but I'm having fun.
next time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. My wife loves me. And we've got some awesome friends, family friends and stuff. So we spent a day and an evening doing that, drinking a little much. It was nice. Um, then we went to the air show on Monday up in Cleveland, which was awesome. Yeah, my son, my stepson really loves aircraft. He's thinking of joining the Air Force after high school, so that's always fun. He's pointing out all the things, like he's going full on nerd. It's like, oh, the thrust on that particular one is hampered by the wing ratio to the thing, and it was so much fun.
Good.
So yeah, and then tried to relax as much as we could. So yeah, nice long weekend, and then I took today off work, which was awesome. Like I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I'm just walking around in
Yeah.
circles. It was great. So, but cool. Glad you had a good weekend, and hopefully things will settle down now that the holidays over. School's
Yeah.
back in session, so we're keeping up with all of that. But one of the things that we're also keeping up with pretty well, I think, is our journey through the indie RPG Sea of Stars. Like looking back on this thing, I think this is either our seventh or our eighth time coming together talking about this
Yeah.
game. And you could argue it's like, okay, you guys have talked this thing to death already, but
But we have it.
no, as this
Yeah.
game keeps continuing to move on, there's more to talk about, and there's different design choices and different things that just come up and shake things up, and it's been a fantastic journey through the Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
It's almost over though. We've gotten to the point where we're about at the end now, right?
I well, but then they keep like adding things in. I'm like, "Oh, like we got, these little more. And so I'm having a totally hard time like judging how close we really are to done. We'll find out.
Yeah. I'm excited to keep on pressing forward with it. Although you saying that made me think of uh the Lord of the Rings Return of the King. That movie like ended four different times. You're like, "Oh, movie's over." And you
Yeah,
go to stand up and
I
you're like, "Oh,
should. Yeah. Yeah.
yep, sit down. There's still more to do." So, but it is
Mystery.
it it is interesting, and I actually kind of wanted to lead us off by asking this question and see if you can if you feel the same way I do. I I feel like they're I don't want to say padding on the end of this game, but I almost feel like the end of the game is it's padded a little bit. Although what they're padding it with is amazing.
It was
So
so much fun. I know. I don't care. I was doing a puzzle in one of those rooms, which again, I totally agree with you. Right? There's a room with three doors, and then each door has its own. Oh, God. I had so much fun doing it. And the environments are so cool, and the music is absolutely amazing. So I don't care. Like, I
right.
literally thought, don't even care. I'll go on your fetch quest. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say a lot of it I don't feel like is tedious or anything. I mean, there's still some puzzle elements which we'll talk about that are kind of like, they're kind of here, but yeah, I'm pretty well invested, but it's interesting from a narrative standpoint. It's like I felt like as soon as we dove into the Sea of Stars and we're
Mhm.
going towards where the Fleshmancer's lair is, the Fleshmancer being the big bad guy, like I felt like we were just going to be spat out of this whatever the hell it
I know.
was, and then
It's
just
gonna
be
be let's go.
right, and let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go to the final dungeon. Then all of a sudden, we're introduced to a completely new world to explore, albeit it's not very big. M- more character development, and then we learn a little something about our ninja assassin who's been with us, named Sarai, that completely changes her in a good way, I think, and then answers a lot of questions I had about her before, like
Right?
how can she do half the things she does? Why does she want to be a
Yeah.
pirate so bad? I don't know.
It was so did you see this coming? Did you see this twist?
No, not in the slightest. Like the
No.
so real quick before we move on, I was trying to find the name so I can put up our spoiler banner before we forget for those of us listening or watching later. What is the
My
name
last save was at the Living Glass.
at the Living Glass? Okay.
Mhm.
And then
Where
where
right, where we get the Kool-Aid guy.
the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah, that's totally right.
Oh, you're not wrong. Ah, there it is. So the place that we get this latest and last party member added to our group is the Sacrosanct Spires. So
Ooh.
yeah, the big towers or whatever. Point of completing the spires. All right, perfect. Save that. Dump this down at the bottom here in case anyone needs to see it. So
Uh,
uh, real fast, if you're watching live with us or if you're joining us at a later point, here's where we're going to knock the spoiler wall down. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, Mysticles, what's happening, buddy? Good to see you. So this is where the spoiler wall gets knocked down. So down at the bottom of the screen, since we're playing the game together, we're both up to around a similar-ish point. I think I'm slightly ahead of you, but
A little bit.
yeah, but we've played up to a point in the story where we're tackling this area across the Sea of Stars called the Sacrosanct Spires, and we just added our last member of the party to the group. Anything up to that point and before is on the table for potential gameplay and story spoilers because obviously we're playing this game together and we want to talk about it. So if you've
Yes.
if you've not played this game yet, if you intend to play this game yet, and you don't want the story spoiled for you, well, we would love for you to hang out, go away, watch our other streams.
Seriously. This is the biggest one. Go away. Go away.
uh, God, I can't think of a better way to say that with love. Go away, we love you,
Yeah,
but come
go
back
away.
and
Goodbye. Right. Come back after you know exactly why we're kicking you out. Yes.
exactly. But if you've been to this point already or past it or you don't mind the spoilers, by all means stick around. So 3, 2, 1 spoilers at this point forward.
Oh
So
my God. So here, okay, so the first thing that I have to say, so this game came out, and I've watched a couple of cheat videos, right, to solve some of those stupid like push around puzzles. I've done a little looking here and there, but even on like IGN or some of the game reviews, nobody is spoiling it. This is
yeah.
like the best, most incredible Christmas present that the gaming industry has given to each other.
Yes.
By not talking about this, what happens with Sarai once you go through the season, I seriously was crying. It was so exciting. And my kid was in a therapy session. And like, and I'm like falling and laughing. What's going on? It's I'm just playing my game. I'm fine. But like, I want to high five everybody who has played this game and not told people what was happening
Yeah.
because it has just it's so magic when you get to experience it. I was so happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an emotional roller coaster to say the absolute least. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I think you and I agree for the most part. The story as a whole is kind of I think it is what it is. I don't think it's like the best RPG story ever told or anything like that. But what
Yeah.
this story does extremely well is character moments. And
Yeah.
they really make you care about the characters and they really make you care about the things that they go through so that when they're happy, you're happy. When they're sad, you're sad. When they're crying, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get everyone up to speed with where we left off last time we streamed, and we'll knock this through beat for beat and talk about kind of our feelings and some of the new things that popped up along the way. And yeah, so last time we were together, we got to the point where our best friend Garl decided to basically take a header for the team when the Fleshmancer, our arch enemy, mortally wounds him. Garl is able to stay alive for a little while by employing a little tactic called "Hey, guy, can you give me the vial of borrowed time, please?"
Yeah.
Which extended his life. We did some tasks for the High Council on the top of Cloud Kingdom. The biggest of which we awoke the sleeping dragon off the mountain because that I still am not entirely sure why that mattered
I
that we did that,
know.
but we did
And then
it
he wasn't grumpy when he did wake up. Yeah.
because everyone loves the smell of fresh baked bread in the morning, I guess.
Agreed.
So so that was all done with the purpose of giving our main characters access to the Sea of Stars, which I I think the best way I can describe it is like if anyone's watching is a fan of Marvel or the Marvel films, Thor, the Bifrost, that thing that connects
I
different
did.
worlds. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the Sea of Stars gives us access to other worlds, dimensions, if you will, so we can track down and finally face and defeat the Fleshmancer. But during this trial to awaken the dragon near the end, Garl finally expires, and then we bury him back in our hometown of Mooncradle in probably the saddest moment I've ever seen. Well, one of them anyway. And
I
I
was
had to,
gonna say, Gareth dying is up there, but Garl kicking the bucket after doing everything that he did was, yeah, very emotional.
yeah, it was very touching. We touched on last episode how well it was presented to the player through still images and no dialogue and just stuff like that. Like it was really, really well done. But the show must go on, as they say, and that's kind of where we left off last time. So now, Lindsay, we are our merry band of four, five. I can't remember how many we are now.
Well, well, but right, but then you gotta do you count all the pirates too? Like,
That's
then there's
true.
like 8 of us.
We do have a merry band of pirates with us as well.
Yeah,
So our motley crew heads back to the High Council, and we tell them that the task has been completed, and they grant us access to the Sea of Stars. And this opens up a whirlpool on the overworld map that's kind of like we were talking. We figure, okay, we're gonna dive into this thing, and we're heading to the final battle. This
yeah,
right here, I almost assumed would be our last time talking about this game, but nay, that's when they just kept adding stuff to it.
yeah.
But so we find ourselves flowing through the Sea of Stars, and I think I figured out a way to actually show everybody how awesome this looks, and I've recorded the gameplay
Was
footage of it.
amazing.
So,
Yes.
so I'm gonna try to prime that up. But while I'm doing that, what'd you think about the experience of, like, getting to it? Like, it was just a bunch of what, were they crystal caverns we had to keep jumping into? Like, what was going through your head when we
Right.
were
They
doing this?
gave you this like transition world, and I was just like, duh, like, what are we doing? Like, oh, I'm supposed to be in the Sea of Stars. And I felt like I got on the wrong train. Yeah, I went down the wrong whirlpool. It was like, I don't want the center of the world. I want the Sea of Stars. And I still am not like exactly clear on why the graphics were pretty.
There
I
were.
mean,
Yeah, let's
showing
let's
off more crystals, cool. Oh,
All right, let's see if we can show this off. So once we get down
fantastic.
to the bottom of the shaft, if you will, we are taken to the actual sea of stars. Okay, I'm going to try to remember to share my actual sound audio here so you can hear all the goodness here. Okay, got it. All right, that is not at all what I wanted. There we go.
Right? Like, what is that? Why do we have to walk? We have a boat.
Right, and then here comes the boat. And look how awesome this is. Like how amazing this
That was
looks.
awesome. I had so much fun. This whole game. It's like I made a video game for me. Sweetie, it is. Drive to the light.
Right. It's like you're not really sure where to go, but of course you just follow the light. But
Yeah,
still, look at this.
just
For an
create
indie
something
developed
all
game,
the
this is
time.
right.
It's so gorgeous. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah, it took me a minute to find that one. Like, what's going on here?
Well,
But
plus, like, there's no indication. Like, am I supposed to drive towards the light? Am I supposed to avoid the light? I don't know.
and
And
then all of
then
a
this,
sudden this,
my
right?
God,
Like it's like, is
awkward
this Mario
music.
Kart? Do I collect the coins? What's happening? And then it just culminates
Yeah,
into this.
this is 100% my wallpaper on my computer right now because it's amazing.
Nice.
Right? Like, what is that? We're breaking reality? That's
Then you just kind of
incredible.
settle down, and now we're in the new world, or new dimension, as it were, old dimension perhaps.
Ooh.
And then we nuzzle up to the dock, and
It's like,
that's that.
wow. Okay. For
Right,
that transition, I was definitely expecting something like random. Uh,
right.
it's fine.
So that was something. Like I
Yeah.
continue to be impressed with this game graphically and presentation wise, and I don't know what it is that a person or team of people have to put in to make something look like this, but god damn.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. Give yourself raises. Everybody at Sabotage. Good job.
Exactly. So we venture through the sea of stars. We have like one of them their out of body experiences, and we find ourselves on an
Yeah.
island, and we get we move into a world that caught me by complete surprise. Like
Yeah.
we're playing this game and we're seeing lush greenery, and we're seeing like dreary and cloud covered like islands that are full of evil, and like this game kind of has a theme, right? Like it's not quite medieval, but it's not quite new age, it's not
Yeah.
steampunk. No, it's got its own identity. And you kind of get the sense that the people living in this world, they're not simple people, but there's farmers, there's typical innkeepers and shopkeepers and fishermen and stuff like that. Like it's
Yeah.
primitive-ish. And then
Sure.
all of a sudden we find ourselves in a futuristic facility, and the music has gone from like upbeat cheery to almost machine like technological. it's
The best techno. Yes.
and it's all really good. Like I don't know how many times you and I have said, oh, this music is amazing for this
Yeah.
particular
This
part,
music
but
beats every music yet. This is so top tier. One of the games I love, we've been playing on the Switch, honestly, probably since the first little bit that we got it. Neuro's Reader. It's a roguelike, and here are these little machines of different types, and the music is this kind of like techno intense, and that's immediately what it made me think of. It's like, right, talk about a flavor change.
Right.
Like we went from quaint to the other side of the world. And it's just, they, again, thought of everything. To change the music that much, yeah, I was flabbergasted. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was amazing, and yeah, and a lot of RPGs that you play, you tend to go into like the final dungeon area or something, and it's always something different because let's face it, in most RPGs, your goal is to fight God. I feel like so you're going on some
Yeah.
sort of like celestial plane or something that's just otherworldly or whatever, but this does it in such a way where it's not like okay you're in a technological highly advanced sort of a place, but it doesn't feel like it's because of some higher deity. I got the impression pretty quick. It's like there people are here somewhere, and this is just a new,
Yeah.
more advanced world. Maybe it's the future, maybe it's another timeline. Who knows? But
Right.
it was it was believable. Like it wasn't like this was some sort of an out of body, okay, we're just going to have this really cool set piece for you to run through. Like it felt like this belonged in this world, and it's very hard for a game to transition into a new environment like that.
Yeah. Well, and then, right, the way that the character kind of introduces us to this world. And again, I feel like they rely a lot on character exposition to help us with characters.
Yeah.
But right, she covered it in like 3 sentences.
Right.
So, and then you're just, "Sweet, let's go." Like,
Yeah,
"Okay, I'm signed up."
for me, Sarai covered this whole thing with just one sentence, and I'm gonna share real quick. I loaded a screenshot up of her revealing what it is that she's been hiding this whole time, and it's a visual that still makes me feel
Yes.
uneasy,
Oh my
but
god, I squeal every time I see it.
right,
She talks a lot more now. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a writer." She is.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so there's
So
Sarai
cool.
welcoming us to her technological world, and her little face mask wasn't really an assassin's mask per se. It was hiding the
Oh,
robotic jaw of hers. She is not human. She's a
so
cyborg.
cool. Yes.
So,
Get out of here, quaint country life. Let's go, Roman.
so I don't think I really knew this about you, and I'm kind of curious to talk about it a little bit. So, like, you're like head over heels over the sci-fi aesthetic here, right?
Oh my god, I am such a sci-fi person, and it's so hard. Um, as a video game person, especially right now, there's this softness to sci-fi, almost like people of our generation who are making games right now don't want to step on toes, or like they're feeling like these things were already done. We don't want to do these tropey things anymore. No, these guys were like, nope, we're gonna make her look like a Terminator. We don't even care. Give her a robot jaw. Like, let's go. And so I cannot wait. And yeah, yeah, it's bad. I love my sci-fi. That is who I am as a person. Absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. I definitely have an appreciation for sci-fi. I don't think nearly as passionate as you, but but I still love it. I actually one of my favorite sci-fi movies, the entire Terminator series, but more specifically the first and the second. Kind of as a joke, I mentioned to Justine, my wife, and I'm like, "Hey, it's August 29th, honey, and according to the Terminator, this is when Skynet becomes self-aware in the
Yeah.
movie." And I made that reference, and then I walked back here in my home office, and then later in the evening, she's like thumbing through our TV, and she's like, "Hey, I'm trying to find Terminator 2 for us to watch," and I'm like, "I ain't
That
gonna
would have
say
been brilliant.
right, like I ain't gonna say no to that."
There should have been like a marathon running. Like, who dropped that ball? Come on.
Right, no kidding, but It was fun. I really do like, sci-fi in general, but I absolutely love this now sci-fi aesthetic here, and if you
Yeah,
even look at our background now, the fire that Zale's poking off to the left-hand side
yeah.
there, it's not wood, it's like metal rods with just it almost looks like a propane grill at that point.
So cool. Yes, that's exactly what I thought too, right? Like with the propane holes to let the blue flames through. And right, it's such a different. That was almost like they were like, okay, guys, right, we're not gonna do right the countryside thing anymore. How far can we go? Like, or what haven't we done? I mean, right? Because we've been to all of the typical right forest and hills and all these places, and now we are not in those.
Yeah, it's this journey just keeps getting better and better and more mysterious as we go. So to kind of sum up what it is that Sarai tells us when she reveals that she is a cyborg and not human, because my first question is, how did that happen and why? Uh, the elevator pitch, as I understand it. So this world that Sarai lives in, I don't know if the world itself has a name, or if it was said, I lost it. But in this
Yeah,
world, yeah, I don't know if you remember it or not, but we'll call it the other world for lack of
yeah,
terminology. So in this other world, Sarai was living with another group of humans until the Fleshmancer came into this particular other world. And at some point, he decided to do his evil, diabolical experiments, and he was kind of having his way with this world. He developed, I think it's the Dweller of Dread, is the particular dweller in
yes,
this area. Um, so he's kind of turned this area into his playground, but to make sure that no solstice warriors are ever born or can come into this world, he finds a way to literally sink the moon into the ocean and block out the sun with just a cloud generator using this advanced technology. He builds
yeah.
a workshop on an island so he can do his diabolical experiments, and then he builds a machine called crud. Now I'm on the spot and I can't remember what it was called. Oh, the catalyst. Calls it the catalyst,
There you go.
and uses it to turn these humans into cyborgs. So now they really can't oppose him. He can perform all sorts of experiments, and the worst part, the way I understand it, they can't die. So they're just trapped in these husks, and they slowly lose all sense of themselves and hope and all that, and they're pretty much done except for Sarai. She wants to figure out a way to save her people, save her world. So
Yeah,
my understanding from that point then is she starts traveling the Sea of Stars and trying to find different worlds that have solstice warriors that are willing to help. So if we think back all the way to the beginning of the game and kind of how she interjected herself with the party, she was very quick to help out. She was kind of just
mm,
short and sweet, like, "Hey, I can help you. I'm here." Slowly gained Zale and Valaire's trust, and her ultimate goal was to bring them back to her world so that they can
yeah.
help her take it back. Like it's all these threads are just
Yes.
continually coming together. So it's now we have new reason to go after the Fleshmancer. Not that we didn't have a reason before.
Right, more. Yes.
So off we go. So now this sets up. I still think we're in the final act. It feels like, but we need to
Yeah. But
basically
it's
find.
getting moved out farther. Yeah.
Yeah. So now our goal is simple, quite simple. We have to raise the moon. We have to
Yeah.
clear out the clouds from the sun so our solstice warriors can use their powers and gain an advantage over the Dweller of Dread, and then finally confront the Fleshmancer. Simple stuff.
Right. Basic. Yeah. I do it all the time. Well, and I think too, as we kind of going down through the story, Sarai kind of keeps being like, "Oh, we should do the moon first, right? Because then you guys, right, we can do an eclipse, and then you guys can have your eclipse power to beat, right, Judge Dredd." See again, it's all flashbacks. Judge Dredd, we've got the cyborgs. Um, so yeah, it's interesting too that right, like I seriously was expecting to go down the whirlpool and hit a rock. I don't even know, and that was gonna be the showdown.
Right.
Now it keeps moving out and out and out. But right, kind of where we are, the plan has kind of been laid on what we need to do. And there's even been hints again that the parties are going to split up again. And so I'm like, oh,
Y-
gosh,
y-
we did that. I'm not wanting to do that again.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will
so I'm
say
curious to see how it goes.
yeah, I am too, but I will say I know where I'm at compared to where you are. I'm not
Yeah.
significantly ahead of you or anything like that, but I'm a decent away ahead of you.
Mhm.
The party has not split yet. So
Oh, okay.
if
Oh,
that's gonna
okay.
happen, it's not gonna happen for a while, I hope, if
Okay.
ever.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. Like that's like one of the arguably one of the most unpleasant things about a role-playing game is splitting up your party and making you
Yes.
use either characters you don't normally use or reducing the size of your party to something a lot
Yeah.
smaller. That's
Yeah.
it's challenging. It can be challenging and engaging if it's done
Yeah.
correctly, but Sea of Stars did it kind of okay-ish, I think.
It was, yeah. It was one of those where they're kinda talking us through it, and I'm like, "Eh."
Right, it's just like, I
Mhm.
guess, I suppose. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, the what made me okay with it was the fact that Garl was taking lead, and I'm like, "Whatever you want, buddy, I got your back."
Right? Yeah, there was a really, really good reason that we were kind of spreading out. This was cool that, right, Rashawn multiplied himself, so we all had a buddy, even though it was all the same guy.
Yeah, which I actually kinda like that because it forced me to use Rashawn more. I wasn't using him at all, and now
See?
I started using him, and I'm like, "Okay, you're not as bad as I thought you were," so that's cool.
Mhm.
So, moving on with the story a little bit. So now we've come across the reason we're here. We now know who and what Sarai really is and what their stake is. Oh, hey, we've got a pal in the
Yeah.
chat. Dr. Scott from Game Closet. What's happening? And real quick, I shouted you out. We shouted you out, Doc, on our very first stream. So I'll shout you out again. Everybody listening, or we'll watch this later. Dr. Scott was so nice to Lindsay and I to help us learn how to do what it is that we're doing now, and we just keep continuing to get slightly better at this. And it's all thanks to you
Yeah,
because you took time out of your day to get the ball rolling.
you did.
Um, oh, I guess we wake you
He
up?
is a
I apologize.
vampire.
So he's a
Did we
vampire.
wake him up? That's hilarious. Oh my god.
uh, we really appreciate you being here. So strap in, my friend. All right, so we learn why we're here. We are working our way through this land, and we come across the appropriately named derelict factory, which to
Yes.
me didn't really it didn't really seem all that derelict. It was actually very
Yeah,
clean.
everything works perfectly.
Yeah, for the most part, we had to build some stuff, but beyond that, it was a weird day, but I am glad you were able to help us.
Yes.
So yeah, the whole place was interesting, but I will say again, and we're just going to keep saying this as we continue to talk about this game. The music in the Derelict Factory is probably my favorite up to this point. Like
It's
it's
incredible. Yes.
it's classic. I guess classic. Maybe classic is the right word, but it's John Woo in the nightclub or John Wick in the nightclub, right? It's just
Yeah,
that techno kind of okay. We got a mission here. We got to go here. We got monsters here. Doesn't matter. Let's just keep moving
yeah,
because we got the world to save. Like it was
yes,
wonderfully done. But what were your overall thoughts on this particular area? Like I felt like it wasn't really puzzle heavy, but the puzzles were unique. The enemies weren't too
yeah,
hard, but they were unique too. Like it was different, but in a good way.
yeah. The horse mech thing was obnoxious. I got really tired of again, like, some of the sprites and some of the cool animations and stuff they do, really fun. That horse mech thing, oh my god, its animation took forever. I would purposely target them to kill them first. to get them out. I didn't
Yeah.
have to watch them like stand there and stomp and stuff. I mean, um, this area they didn't explain to me very well what I was gonna have to do.
Yeah.
So, like, where you have to like use the stupid robot arm thing to move the transport bases. How am I supposed to know that I needed to do that? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, the only thing that tipped me off was when you move it over the right platform or whatever, the beam turns green, and then you have the
Yeah.
prompt on the lower right-hand side of the screen saying "grab." Because
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, the first thing I did when I got a hold of this crane, I went right over top Zale, and I'm like, "Can I pick him up?"
So childish, isn't it? Totally did the same thing. And I just picked us up and moved. No, you cannot pick yourself up with the laser crane, which I was like, that's a hilarious name for a device anyway. So once you figure it out, it's kind of fun. But
Yeah,
again, it's just another one of those go through these doors and go get what you need and then come back through the main oh, yep, come over here and then move the thinger. Um, Selecting the parts to build the battery that you needed was cool.
yeah, agreed.
Um, and then the way it like slotted it down and you got to watch the animations as it came out so you could pick it up with the laser crane. But as we were talking about padding, this is so much padding. Like it was like, you need me to build a battery to get in an elevator to go. This is the whole point of the derelict factory for us. Like, are you kidding me? There's no stairs.
Right.
Like they're all like human form. I doubt they're using this elevator 24/7, but
Right.
it
No,
was
that's
fine.
that's a good point. I mean, what happens in case of an emergency? It's fine, but
It's
no, you're right, and while while any good fetch quest is I don't know, if you do it right, it can have some meaning behind it, whether you're getting a uh, loot that's going to change the tide of battle or help you spec out your character in a different way. That's cool. Or maybe there's a cool character moment that happens in between or whatever. But like you're right. And when I think back to that, it was cool to dance to the music. It was cool to operate the
yeah,
crane, but there really
yeah.
wasn't anything on your way to get all these pieces parts really. So I did
Mhm.
feel I don't feel like we wasted our time, but we didn't really do a whole lot there. Although
Yeah.
I think to make up for that, what the developers did, I'm assuming, I noticed the 2 or 3 battles that were in that factory, and there wasn't even a ton of those. They gave you a lot of experience points. Like,
Yeah.
so my thought was, "Hey, we don't have a lot going on here, guys, but just take some XP. Everything's fine."
Right. You're gonna level up, it's fine. Well, and I think because I was thinking about like how could they have made it better? Because like you're saying, sometimes you get character development. Like, why wasn't Sarai talking to us and telling us even just a couple lines every time you go into a different room? She's like, oh, she's the leader in these cyber people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. She's their president,
I
right? For who's the top of the village. So I figure,
yeah, like, I don't know. There's certain aspects about her character that I don't care for. Like, if I really wanted to
yeah,
be a jerk about it, if you think back to when Garl got, hit in the chest, it was her fault because she was the one that threw the vial at the
yeah.
Fleshmancer, and the Fleshmancer's like,
But
you
now
broke
we
the
know
rule."
why. Now we know why, because
Eh,
she's pissed.
right. So at the very least, she could have given us just a one or
Right.
two line exposition dump here and there as we walk through this factory,
Yes,
like,
yeah.
or even if it's something funny like, "Hey, here's the laser crane. I had a friend that had 2 arms at one point, but they didn't operate the crane properly."
Not anymore.
Right, so then we get something out of her, and then we get a little
Yeah,
chuckle, but we got nothing. So, it was
yeah,
disappointing.
yeah.
But yeah, overall though, I like the area, for what it was, but we get through it
Yeah, as a
pretty quick.
transition area, right? Going from where we were to this, oh, yeah, that's fine. Go as extremely noir robot as you need to. That's fine. Yeah.
Right. So we get through the factory, and then we find the town of Repine, we'll call it. Um,
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah.
and this is the town where Sarai lives, and then once we enter the town, it immediately becomes very, very bleak, very dark. We see the citizens that have been turned into cyborgs just hanging around. If you if you want to feel sad, you want to talk to all these people because they are
Go
the
talk to
epitome.
all the yeah. It was awful.
Yeah, and
I think he's gonna say something nice.
yeah, you can't blame them either. I mean, they're kind of trapped in their machine husks, and they don't really have much to do, so they're pretty sad.
Yeah.
But it's nice motivation to keep pushing you as the player forward, which is nice. But um, we find Sarai's house at the top of the hill, and then we're introduced to her equivalent to Iron Man's Jarvis
Yeah.
computer system. This one is named Cedric,
It's
and
just
right.
yeah.
So Cedric actually does more about, I think, injecting us into this world than Sarai does,
Yes.
which is nice.
Agreed.
But long story short, that the AI gives us an idea of kind of what's been going on. The Fleshmancer is back. They're on their island, and the moon is still sunk in the ocean. The sun is still blotted out by the clouds. And Cedric helps plot out our course of action, which Sarai kind of doubles
Yeah.
down on. Let's go do the moon first. Let's do the sun and the clouds, and basically forms our plan of attack. Um,
Mhm.
so it was a fun exchange. I like Cedric's sense of humor when Zale was freaking
Yeah.
out. He was
His
just like,
little quips were awesome. I
"Yeah,
enjoyed that.
recommendation one, breathe in. Recommendation two, breathe out."
He's like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and then right, and then Valia laughed at him. And yeah, it was all good.
That was cool. So we've got our plan, and after we restore the sun and the moon, our first target is going to be the Dweller of Dread. So we're after Judge Dread after we restore the moon and the sun. So then we are off to the Cerulean Expanse. Now, the Cerulean Expanse. You're shaking your head because of the reason I'm going
It's
to.
a desert.
Exactly. It's like it's
So
this
boring.
bit. No, it's cerulean. It's shinier. Yeah,
Did you
it's a
even understand what we were doing when we went into this desert? I just wandered around. Like I could not figure out what I was supposed to be doing.
it I think I figured it
That
out quicker only because the little that's something I should have mentioned. Cedric gives us a drone, a probe
yeah.
as it's called, and it kind of floats around us now while we're in the cerulean expanse. Like
Okay.
I had no idea what was going on either, but then all of a
I go,
sudden it started
"Oh, it's
beeping.
great. We have a spaceship.
Right, and
Why?
I'm thinking back to some dialogue, and I remember Cedric saying, "You'll want to use this to find any hidden items." Okay,
Hey,
I that
where?
right.
So
So
I wandered to the desert.
yeah, how long did it take you to
Maybe
figure out what you
like
needed to do?
probably 10 minutes because I'm like, it doesn't give you a prompt. Like he goes like beep beep beep. It doesn't tell me
Yeah,
what to do. It doesn't say like a button and dig and this robot and dig around. Like again, you need just a little bit more direction
yeah,
so that we can enjoy this and move on because it was a huge time sink for me. Probably it's my fault, but oh my goodness, another desert. It's fine, but
yeah. I wasn't super impressed, and this goes back to I think this might have been another element of padding, um, because I noticed what we needed to do pretty quick, and there is a prompt if you get so close to the
is
dig
there?
site. Yeah, there
Okay.
is, but that's the thing. All it is just the button, the A button, excuse me, and then the word dig, which is like that small. So
Yeah.
I could see
Oh
you missing
man.
that. But
Right? Because I'm all hopped up and excited
right, it's like
into
we're
the desert. Mm,
but the whole premise of us being here is we have to anytime we're in I'll call it a room or an area of the desert, there's
yeah.
8 ways you could leave: up, down, left, right, and diagonally. But
So bad.
right, but here's how you work your way through it. You have to use this probe to dig in the ground when it finds something to unearth objects. And It's kinda cool. You can find actual treasure and loot, you can find food, like, I unburied, like, raw meat and still took it with me, it
So
was
many
great.
meat.
Right, I'm
Like,
sure meat that's
good thing
been
I'm
s
not cooking.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Desiccated meat that's been buried for 1,000 years.
I'm sure the
Ooh.
nutritional value is out the charts. It's just like the wall chicken in the walls of Dracula's castle in Castlevania.
Yes,
Exactly,
life-saving wall chicken.
exactly. But eventually you'll dig up a disc, a large circular disc, and it's got 8
Mhm.
lights on it, and only one of them is green, and it's basically telling you which exit you could take before you can move on and eventually escape this expanse. The problem is, and what added padding for me was A, you've got all these areas that you're in, and there's at least 3 or 4 hidden items, so I wanna make sure that I'm finding all the items. Uh,
Yes.
B, some of the items you find are actually monsters, so you're kinda forced into a battle that maybe you don't wanna partake in. I did.
Did you level up while you were in the desert?
I did, thankfully.
Yeah, like, it was, again, another one of those where it was like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna level up, like, right now." Yeah.
Y Yeah, so I was all about it, but at the same time, though, like, I don't know how many times we moved to a different area, but I felt like it was, like, upwards of, like, 8 or 9 times that we kept moving in the right
Always
direction.
there. Yes.
Yeah.
Good night. And Cedric did not explain the disc. Like, it never was, "Oh, you're gonna go search in the desert to find these things, and that's gonna tell you where to go." No, it was just, "Here's a probe. Thanks."
Yeah, go
Yeah,
go go
just
do something with it. Be responsible with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
go
it
dig up potatoes.
right. I will say it didn't take me very long to figure out what the disc actually meant, but again, you don't know that you're actually looking for it because
Yeah.
the first time I went in the area, I uncovered like grain, I uncovered meat, I uncovered a treasure box, and then I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I guess that's everything because I can't find anything else, and I went to another area. Totally missed it.
Right, right.
So, but
Yeah, until you find the first one, and then it's like, "Oh, okay."
yeah, so it's
Right, you have no idea.
yeah, so certainly not the worst area in the game, really. But again, it's a desert. It's
No,
like
because Torment Peak is the worst area in this game. Oh my gosh, yeah.
please go back and watch episode 4. We talk all about Torment Peak
No,
then.
don't. It's so dark. No point in that area. My gosh,
Oh my god.
it's way better.
So
Cerulean Expanse is way more fun than Torment Peak.
well, actually, what it reminded me of was any of the Lost Woods that you would go into in any of the Legend of Zelda games that had them. Like, how many times do you move around and the fog gets you, or you move around? Those are more fun than the Cerulean
Yeah.
Expanse, but Torment Peak is considerably worse. So, all right, at least we know where we stand.
Yeah.
All right, so we make our way through the Cerulean Expanse. Oh yeah, I put in my notes. I put very boring place, so I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
So so now we make it to, and the game tells us this, or else we would have never known. But now we make it to an area called the Lost Ones Hamlet, which
Ooh.
I know it's just like
What the heck?
what is this? So we're in an area where we start to explore. This is all during a cutscene, but we explore and there's nobody around. It's all empty,
The
and we come.
desert is absolutely filler. Yes.
It,
Yes. At this point, yeah. We didn't need another desert. It's fine. This next area is totally worth the desert. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of hungry for dessert right about now. I know it's like going on almost 10 o'clock Eastern, but thank you for
Just
that, doctor.
Oreos. We're upset.
So we come across this area that's got nobody in it, and we come across a building that we later find out is a workshop of the Fleshmancer. And I can't remember what spurns it, but Rashawn turns around and he starts shouting at the top of his lungs, like, "Yo, anybody that's hidden, turn away, because I'm about ready to turn you
Yeah.
visible." And then he throws a vial on the ground, it explodes, and then these I don't know how to describe them. These floating gelatinous creatures
Yeah.
appear everywhere. And I thought to myself in this
Lot
moment, what
of
the hell's
them.
going on
Yeah.
now?
Yes. Yeah, and the transition was so cool because it hits it, right? And it's very, pixelated, and then these creatures just kind of like fade up out of that. I was like, oh, okay, this is way better. Like
Yeah,
I just did all that for a totally decent reason. Yeah, I was expecting a couple of like spooky ghosts, and instead we got like 20. It was
right.
crazy.
Right, and then we learn why the spooky ghosts are around. Which here's another moment where Sea of Stars, which on the outside looks so chipper and delightful and visually
Yeah.
appealing, just goes right into the darkness. So I don't remember the specifics. It's probably good that I don't. But that workshop that's farther past us in this area was set up by the
Yep.
Fleshmancer for the sole purpose of experimenting on the population in that area, and
Yep.
to the point where he actually made that particular race of beings extinct by eventually experimenting on them to the point of death, and he
Mhm.
sent their souls to be devoured slowly by his dweller
Right.
of dread. And it's like,
That's what he was doing, right, was separating their souls from their
from their
bodies, and
bodies. That's right.
ugh, what is this game? Okay. Yeah.
Right. Like, we just got done doing a chipper jaunt through a wooded field or something, and now we're talking about this game has no
Oh,
qualms with just pulling us back and forth when it comes
no.
to the story
Going
moments,
exactly. Yeah.
which I don't know about you, but I kind of like it.
I know. Well, that's why they have us so invested because it's like, what now? What now? What are we gonna do? Yeah.
Right. So we're talking to some of the beings. Not a lot of them really say much, but as we go to leave the area, we come across one special one. He's a red little blob. I think his name is like literally spelled B apostrophe S T.
Uh,
Right. Which
yeah.
I was thinking to myself,
Wow.
it's just bleh. But
Yeah. Yep.
I just started calling him Beast because it's just BST,
Yeah.
Beast, whatever.
That's wonderful.
So I started calling him Beast. So Beast here kind of gives us a little bit more of a lowdown of what's going on. Um, but he lets us know that in order to complete our quest, we need to get access to an area called the Sky Base. And I
Mm,
believe maybe I'm jumping too far ahead. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know we got to get there eventually, but basically there's a portal or not a portal, uh, a barrier, a magical barrier that's impeding us naturally, of course. And Beast is the one that knows how to destroy it or take it down, but he
yeah.
can't leave the area he's in due to the curse or whatever it was the
Right.
Fleshmancer put on him.
Yeah, the power that was used to transform him, yeah, and turn him into goop. Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, Rashawn starts to mutter to himself, and he's like, is this living glass? Is this a living glass scenario?" To which I'm sure you and I both were kind of like, "What is this
Yes,
again?"
let's go.
Right. So we move into the Fleshmancer's workshop, and I have to say, this workshop, as dark and dingy as it is probably my top 3 favorite places in this game so far. And that's definitely me being a fan of, like, scary video games and just dark and melodic
Yeah.
stuff. Um,
Yep.
Everything's dark, and for whatever reason, anything the Fleshmancer builds or constructs seems to have, like, this fleshy kinda goo on it every once in a
Mhm.
while.
Oh, I hadn't thought, yeah, in like the corners and like hanging off the, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, just that little aesthetic choice, and then you go in, this place is dark. You see these experiment tubes. Some of them are lit, some of them are shattered, so you can clearly tell that this is where all the experimentation happened. The music
Yeah.
perfectly sets the mood, and you're just once again taken out of your comfort zone, and it's just, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like it, and I feel sticky.
So like, well, to me, it looks like the original X-Files movie, right, where Mulder goes in to save Scully and they're all in the tubes. Like that's exactly like it's It's sci-fi cliche, and I'm here for it.
Nice. I forgot all about that episode. Like my mind went
Ah,
my mind goes to Resident Evil just because that's my go-to
yeah,
scary thing. The tubes with the bioweapons and for those that have played the first game where the tyrant lives, like I know it's not quite the same what we're doing here, but that's where my mind went. So now we get to the end of this area and we fight a boss that I think is
a
now my
whole game,
favorite.
but worth it. I yeah.
So I don't know if I saved a screenshot of this particular monster, but I do have some gameplay footage of this thing. Specifically, I took some footage of some of our characters' ultimate attacks trying to take this thing out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to load some of that stuff up here really quick.
Hey,
But
an overwhelmed gamer.
oh hey, what is happening? Hope you and your daughter are getting into some fun stuff. If not tonight, it's coming up soon. I actually jumped on a stream that the Overwhelmed Gamer was doing with his daughter, and it was actually really enjoyable watching them play through a
Aw,
puzzle
that's
type game
awesome.
together. Yeah, it kind of made me think like, you know what, I should do that with my daughter. I'm like, no, she doesn't have the patience for that.
Wrangle my children.
Awesome. Okay, let me see. Is this the one? Oh, this. Oh, I got two. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I got two clips I'm going to queue up, and this will actually kind of show off the monster. They're not very long, so I'll try to set these up a little bit first before we go. But this monster that we come across, I forgot uh what beast referred to this thing as, but the name of this thing is called Meduso, and
Yeah,
it's a robotic face that deteriorates the more damage you do to it,
it's
and it's
so great.
oh,
Yes.
it's wonderful. And from a actual battle type of a situation, like I think this was probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let me get this going, and I'll try to see if I can see here, and I'm gonna
Well,
do
because
this with
even though, right, even though it was one of those like main body extra pieces and parts, I mean, there's so much similarity to that plant fight early in the game, but I hated the plant fight. And this game, the way that he was like powering himself up through the battle, I've never done a fight like that ever before. It was so cool.
right. So here's just a still of it right when the video starts. This is where the battle's just about over, and this thing's face is just all over the place.
Oh,
And
and at this point, right, it's like pulsating, like the detail as this thing gets worn down was so great. I'd like just sleep and wait. God bless you, turn-based RPG.
right.
Like not to watch for a minute.
Yeah, this was wild. The you'll notice too if you're looking at it close, the four we'll call them tentacles, right? They'll actually go into the ground and pull up different capsules and hold them
Yeah,
there, and you'll have a couple turns to break the locks that are around each of those capsules. And if you break the locks, the creature won't use that particular castle or
yeah,
capsule. And there were four different colors, and depending on the color would be your attack. All I know though for sure is the blue one turned it into a melee drill that drilled your party.
yeah,
The green one healed it, so you kind of
yes.
want to watch out for that. I can't remember what the red one did. If I think it was a red
It
one.
was like a fireball. It was a one character hit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There was that,
And then
and then the big one was this purple one that did
yes,
massive area of
it was
effect damage.
awful. Yes.
So it was an interesting fight because as these things are on screen, you've got to decide like, okay, with the turns that I have, which locks can I break to disengage these cylinders, and which ones am I okay getting hit with? Typically, you
Mhm.
want to focus on purple. Most of the time, you don't want it to heal itself. Everything else you can kind of
Right.
let go. But
Yeah, I was like, "All right, I can handle this." Well, and that's I figured out with the healing ones too, if you hit them, it does reduce. So even if you didn't break it, he
yeah,
was healing less. I was just shit like that. I figured that out, and I was just sitting those great all the time. I'm like, "Don't heal, I hate you." And
yeah, I was very impressed with this battle, and I can't think of a reason I didn't like it. But
Oh,
so so here I'm trying. I was trying to make sure that I use now that and you'll see if you look at the command prompt here, I'm on
yeah,
Valair, I believe, and her skill thing is highlighted all multicolor. All of our characters have their ultimate attacks now, and I'm trying like
yeah.
hell to make sure that I'm actually utilizing them. And I'm thinking I'm going to take this thing out in glorious fashion, but I want to play this if nothing else just to show everybody how again how amazing the graphics in this game are when it comes to the gameplay. So I'm not playing any sound with this one because it kind of gets really loud. But Valair takes off into the sky with her ultimate attack. Like the attention to
Shit.
detail is just so good.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed. I didn't actually kill the creature with this thing, and I'll show you what I
Oh,
killed it
I
with.
did. I got to use the sun one, and I was very happy.
Nice. So
Yeah,
yeah,
her thing
she's
is so pretty.
yeah, it's still ticking after that, which is slightly annoying. But what I actually used, what I'm also trying to use, and this is just me showing off, so I'm going to show you another one for funsies.
Do it.
But I'm trying to use more combo attacks, and for the
Mhm.
uninitiated, as you do damage or you do abilities or block or time your button presses correctly, your combo meter will
Yeah.
go up, and then once you get to 1, 2, or 3 levels, you can use combo attacks with your different party members, and they're usually pretty powerful or pretty useful.
Mhm.
And I found the one that is like just my absolute favorite now, and
Oh,
I'm
man.
I'm not going to be able to pronounce this thing correctly. Conflagate? Conflict? Don't know. It's
Profligate? Yeah, with
sure.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But here's this is.
Who
So
is this? Oh, I don't think I have that. Of course, I never save up 3.
you
You're so
actually have
impulsive.
to control this column of fire with your left stick.
Stop it.
So I'm hovering over
That's
this thing and look at this damage.
crazy.
479 totally wipes this thing out. Have a good day.
It's and it, like, screams. Oh my god, it was so good. It
Right.
disappears. Yes.
And then of course I level up at that point too, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Yeah, there's a
that
lot of leveling up. Nervous.
totally fine with it. It's making me happy. All I ever wanted to do in this game was grind. So jeez. Oh, I missed this comment real quick. I don't know if you said something and I missed it, but if you're watching or listening or seeing this later, go check out Overwhelmed Gamer, especially on Sunday nights.
Right.
Those are daddy daughter streams. Those are fun to watch.
That's fantastic.
Heck yeah. So we defeat the evil face, and and this allows us to take one more step in getting Beast outside of the area so he can help us break down this barrier to continue moving on. And this is where Rashawn decides that he's going to cast this spell called Living Glass. And it's it's so interesting to me. Like he makes it like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Are you sure you know what you're getting into?" And Beast is like,
I
"Yeah,
know,
I'm aware. Can we do the thing?" And
right? Like,
I'm sitting over here going, "I don't know what the hell's going on, but whatever."
yeah, what are we well, and then the animation as you're, like, waiting for Rashawn, it's like he's welding.
Yes.
Tiny partners, noises and flashes of light. It's like, what's happening? Do you people know what glass? Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm confused. Yeah.
Yeah, it was different, but what that ends up doing is it gives this little gelatinous hovering blob a body, but it's made of glass, living glass, if you will. So now the name of the spell makes sense. But as far as I'm concerned, and I didn't prepare a picture. I need to get a picture really quick because I kind of want
I
to know what the rest.
know. Now I'm like, dang it.
I want to know what everybody else thinks. But I am 100% convinced that this guy is just the Kool Aid Man with
He's the
arms.
Kool-Aid man. He's got these big buff arms and he like walks out. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, Sean talks about how like the living part of the glass is he's able to bind it like with his spirit. So it's now like like he's inhabiting a body. It's not just a container.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so
look
here
at him.
yeah, so here's what he looks like now. He's a big old Kool-Aid man. He's ready to just oh yeah, all over the place.
But when he walks, like the clink clink of his little glass feet makes me so happy.
Right. And look at this here. He's a songster. He does magic by
Stop.
singing, I guess, because
So excited. I haven't
this
had to do anything with him yet. I got him and I had to save. And
nice.
I'm like, this is fantastic. I have a gooey guy now.
Yeah, so I will say I've used him in battle, and he is
Mhm.
probably one of my favorite party members now. But
Yeah.
well, I'll give you a preview of kind of how what he's all about. So he is dedicated attack. Like his magic stat is
Okay.
very low to start. He's got a couple special abilities, but they're focused on single targets only for overwhelming damage. Like
Okay.
he's he's a powerhouse, and for someone like myself, I think I mentioned it on one of our streams before. Like I'm of the opinion that the best defense is a good offense because the enemy
Yes.
can't hurt you if they're dead. So
It's already dead. Yes.
right. So I'm loving all out attack. So
Awesome.
I love this guy. But
Hey.
one of the nicer things about him, for some reason, he has a revive spell that also heals. Uh,
Sweet.
right. I don't know why, but yeah. So he
Interesting.
so he doesn't really have a lot of tactical use. Like
Mhm.
Valair and Zale and Sarai kind of have multi-hit combos and things that'll inflict status effect, whatever it may be. This guy just punches you in the face. That's it.
While being made of glass.
While
That's
being made
so
of glass.
ironic.
Right. And
Awesome.
it's interesting. When he got his glass body, Rashawn made it a point to say, like, this thing will last as long as you have the vim and vigor and determination to do the thing that you
Yeah.
want to do. And I noticed too when we first met this thing, Beast, he was very shy, unsure, very wary. But the moment he got his Gundam armor, he is confident. He is
He's a
upbeat. Yeah, and yeah, and you'll definitely get to experience it as you go, but so far what I've experienced with him is he's very eager to help. He's a very honorable dude. Like I'm thinking to myself, what is a blob gonna bring to the table? And I've been very
Yeah.
impressed with this character so far. So,
Yay. Good
so
deal.
yeah, so you'll have to tell me next time how it's all gonna shake down and if you like him or not, or if you use him or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So
If it's a tank, sign me up. I that is definitely my style of play. So yeah. He'll be in there. No
yep,
problem.
all the world's problems can be solved by punching him in the teeth. So he's
Exactly. Awesome.
so awesome. So that's where you stopped. I'm a little ways ahead of you, but we're gonna stop our story experience there. So now
Yeah.
here's the question on the table, and this is going to be a fun question to ask because we didn't talk about this at all in pre-stream or anything. So we're just going to kind of wing this. So we, I think we're almost done, like for realsies this
Again,
time.
we keep thinking we're almost done, Frank. We're kidding ourselves.
Right, but,
Yeah.
all that to say, we're just gonna keep plowing forward and see if we get to the end of this thing, so our next stream, maybe our last, when it comes to Sea of Stars, we might have 2 more, who knows? This thing just keeps going on, again, like Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, fade to white,
And
nope, still got more.
and
But I will say this though, and I kind of wanted to throw this out there for you, and maybe those that have played the game and haven't played it to absolute completion, or maybe they're thinking about it. Now, I mentioned this last time we talked, but I'm on the fence with how I generally feel about games that have multiple endings.
yeah.
Sea of Stars has 2 endings. I did a little bit more research on how those actually happen, and I won't spoil
Oh,
anything. I spoiled a little bit for myself, but I'll keep it vague for you, Lindsay, and for anyone listening.
okay.
So to get the people are calling it either an alternate ending or the true ending. It can be taken either which way, I guess.
Okay.
To get that, you actually have to beat the game normally. So it's not like you're
Oh,
gonna miss out on an ending per se. So we have to play the game, finish the story, which involves us taking on and doing battle with the Fleshmancer, which we
yes.
know that's where we're heading to.
Mhm.
Once the credits roll, it will allow us to save our game for like a new game plus run, but it's not sending us back to the
Okay.
very beginning.
Mhm.
Apparently, it sends us back to the moment before the quote unquote final battle to allow us to
Oh.
go back and do things, complete quests or whatever.
Oh.
Now, we could technically stop the game at that point, but to
Mhm.
experience the true or alternate ending, there's like a list of 7 things that need to be done, which is
Oh.
like find all the rainbow conch shells, find all the
Oh,
people to
shit. I'm flying on this. Oh, mm.
which it's all of
Does
that. It's fun.
does it tell you? Does it tell you? Like, Lindsay, you found 64 conch shells. Go find 5 more. Like, does it tell you?
Sort of.
Okay.
I think there's 60 all told, and you can look at your
Yeah.
inventory and see how many you have. So I've used that as a gauge.
Okay.
I also noticed too, if you're ever on the Vespertine.
Beautiful ending. You're not the one doing it. I want to move on. No, I don't want to move on. I kind of, sort of, almost have another game that I'm thinking that I might try and talk Frank into playing if he
Ooh,
hasn't played it already. We'll
yeah.
see.
Hold that thought. We'll see. Actually,
Like, we're,
let's not tell
even,
everyone
even,
yet. Let's keep it suspense.
even if you Google the shop, I like that. Just give myself a quick, YouTube walkthrough. How about that? Honestly, wait, right time. I mean, what, we're like 28 hours in. We've done how many? Yeah, we have to go. It's full. It's
We
full.
do. Although
Mhm.
and yeah, definitely Google it like Overwhelmed Gamer said, and I found a couple places that have just like bullet points. These are the things you need to do, and
Ah,
then you
that's
can
what the
do
stupid parrot is. That's what. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Two and two, putting it together. All
Yep.
right.
So all that to
Okay.
say, play the game. Let's finish the game because we have to experience that
Yeah.
first ending, and then we need to go back and do some cleanup. Now the cleanup is really going to be dependent on really. I'm not really sure how much time it's going to take because I know I've done some of the things
Oh,
already, but
okay.
I have 42 of the conch shells right now, so I'm missing a
I
handful.
seriously think I'm at like. I seriously think I'm at like 30 something. Yeah.
Yeah, we got
I'm
to.
not as driven to find them all. Although I found the one, where was it? Oh, in Sarai's village. Did you go in all the little shops?
Yes, yeah,
All the
I
little
found that one.
creepy tech noir? So I got that one. Okay.
Oh,
So you
and
don't have to go back across the Sea of Stars to
right.
get the extra robot conch shell. Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be some work. So I think what we'll end up doing is once we complete the main ending, we'll certainly talk about it on stream. We'll talk about the ending and all that. But I also think that we'll spend the time and I think it's worth kind of just giving our summary, our high level bullet points.
Yeah.
What did we like about this game? What did we not like about this game? And maybe rate it 1 out of 10. And
Hmm.
just there it is.
Yeah.
Put it
To
off
like
into
revisit some of the memorable, because yeah, we've been doing this for a while now, and
we
I'm
have.
old, so I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
That's
say we do
funny.
that, and then maybe park Sea of Stars for a little bit, and then go off. And if we decide to do the true endings on our own, if we
Mhm.
do, come back in like a I don't know an epilogue stream. Hey, we got the true ending,
Sweet.
and we want to talk to you all about it. So don't talk to us if you don't want to have it ruined. But if you've done it
All
before,
right, kids. Yeah.
right? So I
Cool.
think that'll
Yeah.
be our loose plan. What do you think?
I'm in for that. Yeah, and especially, yeah, to kind of give some cushion to go back because some of that nitpicky treasure. Oh, never been that guy. Never ever. Um, but
I
I don't know, like knowing that there's a Garl ending out there. It had better have Garl. If I'm doing all this, there had better be Garl in it. So, um,
We shall see. But I I like the idea of it, but at the same time too, if we just end the game and don't get the true ending, I feel like it's just going to be a very incomplete experience. Like we have to. So
yes, yeah,
cool.
yeah. Because
So
after all of this, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'll just replay that. Like, if we'll kind of have like, drained this one by the time we're done. Yeah,
yeah, I agree. So cool. So that'll be the plan. So everyone watching at home, everyone watching in the future,
right.
we're gonna
Well, let's
get
do it.
yes. We're gonna get together one more time at the very least next Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, and talk about what we think is going to be the ending of Sea of Stars.
Close to the end. Let's see what's not.
so so we're gonna start winding things down here, but before we go, um, wanted to let everybody know what we're up to, really who we are, and where you can find us. If for some reason you stuck around this long and you like the sound of our voices and want to see what else we're doing out there, here's your ticket. So, oh, Dr. Scott's awake.
That's
Well, he will be awake. He should be awake. Are you going to be awake? Yes, you will be. Well, set a phone reminder, or I'll come to your house. I don't know where you live.
we'll
I'm
just
kidding.
text you.
Yes. Awesome. Sir and Lady Flaw, awesome. We would love to see you there. It would be fantastic to continue
Yes.
finalize this journey. So, real quick before we go, my name is Frank, or I also go by Nomad. My whole shtick is I have a podcast where I go through and play old retro video games that I missed out on as a wee lad. But instead of just playing those games and giving you my thoughts on them, which I do, I also try to take you, the listener, through the podcast by actually putting you into the game itself by using music and sound effects. It's kind of like you and I are playing the game together on our shag orange carpet with the TV sitting right in front of us on the floor with the NES propped up next to us. So it's a fun time. I just put out my latest episode on Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, which was that was a game that I played.
I will not play that game. It's my husband's favorite Zelda still to this day. So,
That's the thing. It's either somebody's favorite or it's their most hated, and I
oh,
haven't
why would you
found very
put
many
that?
that are on the fence. So,
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
that's out there in the wild. I have the Retro Wildlands podcast on all the podcast servers that I could find. So Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we're out there. Just Google the Retro Wildlands, and we're out there. I'm also on YouTube. I don't have a lot going on YouTube, but I got a few game reviews. I'm starting to stream. Obviously, you're watching one with Lindsay and I. And I started to do some solo ones. I did one on Resident Evil the other night, and I'm thinking about doing a solo stream finishing up Resident Evil this Friday. Maybe stay tuned on the socials for that. But that's me. That's what I do. Lindsay, what you do?
Lindsay does Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This hopefully there's people watching. Yeah, game guys, you're watching on Facebook. What do you mean? My brand new live stream. I'm still kind of absolutely blown away by I put out a video and said I'm at 90, which when did that happen? And I had to get a 100 to be able to live stream. And so here we are. And then the next milestone that Facebook puts out there for you, anybody know this? It's 1,000.
Oh, yep.
Like, oh, I'm on my way. 1,000. Who cares? Oh, yeah. I was really, really excited to be able to live stream this on my Facebook. Um, yeah, I guess cool games, Facebook, um, Instagram, and YouTube. It's Lindsay LL Cool Games.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right. Well, with that, thank you everybody that joined us live, the Overwhelmed Gamer, Sir and Lady Flaw Gaming, Dr. Scott from the Game Closet, Mystically stopped by for a little while. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody, but thank you all for checking us out.
Yeah.
Lindsay, before I shut us down, any final thoughts, or are we good?
No, I'm pumped. Like it's one of those where when I have a minute to play, I'm really happy to have a game to hop in and play. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So join us next Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, where we will potentially, maybe, possibly finish our journey into the Sea of Stars. Have a fantastic night, everybody.
I